Thanks for staying with us on MotoAmerica Live Plus. I'm down on the grid, ready for the BellissiMoto Twins Cup race. This is going to be an exciting one. We're going to have a quick chat. We're going to have a quick chat then to our top three on the grid, starting with the pole man, Alessandro Di Mario. We spoke to him a little bit earlier. Now he's got his game face on. How are you feeling, Alessandro?
I'm feeling good. I don't really know what to expect because we had our wet race yesterday, but I'll just try and lead and see how it goes.
Excellent, thanks, Alessandro. The fastest ever lap on a Twins Cup bike in the dry on the podium yesterday for the Robum Engineering Rodeo Racing team. This guy yesterday, not known for his wet weather skills, but boy, he put that to rest yesterday. A brilliant ride yesterday for Rocco Landers. Dry today, middle of the front row. What can you do, Rocco?
We can start by trying to get a good start and see where that puts us. Just gonna, these apes got a little bit of power on us in the bottom end and mid-range specifically, but we're gonna try to send it, see if we can try to put a little bit of a distance between at least me and as many people as possible and do what we can to go forward. So a win would be nice today.
Excellent stuff. One of the stars of this class for the last couple of years. Let's move on to very quickly get a word with Gus Rodeo if we can. He's just about to put the helmet on just a couple of minutes before we go. New rear boots in the bike, of course. The Rodeo Racing team have been at the forefront of this Twins Cup Championship for the last couple of years. Gus, very quickly, obviously disappointment yesterday. Today's a new day. How are you feeling?
Yeah, today's a new day, so we kind of had the bike apart last night, went through some stuff, and found obviously we solved the problem we had yesterday. That showed this morning in warm-up. So it's just another race. Just go out there and have fun, and it's my favorite track. So I'm enjoying every lap around here, and I'm just happy to be out here riding my bike after missing kind of all day yesterday. So I'm ready to go and just have fun. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, if you weren't here with us earlier on, Gus Rodeo was having a great time this morning. Super fast in the warm-up. Very quickly, just giving a pointer. We haven't got a lot of time, but this is the winner from yesterday, Dominic Doyle. We know how fast he is in the wet and the dry. Second row of the grid. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. See how the race goes and try to get a good result.
Excellent. Thanks, Dominic. Right, we don't have very long left. I want to very quickly speak to Rossi Moore. He, of course, has been getting better and better, steadily improving on this Vision Wheel M4 X-Star Suzuki. Middle of the second row, close to the podium yesterday. I'm sure you're going to be in that fight again today.
Yeah, for sure. You know, our results didn't show how much potential we had yesterday, so I'm hoping that today we can get better results. I'm feeling very confident, and I think we can battle for the front.
Thanks a lot, Gavin, on the umbrella duties there as well. I'm going to have to hire him in the next race because I'm burning me blooming scalp here. Very quickly then, final interview that I'm going to get a chance to do is with this guy. He's back in the paddock. It's so good to see Sean Varsky back in MotoAmerica. We don't have very long to go, but a solid result yesterday. Same again today?
We're looking to do a little bit better today. You know, yesterday I think if I would have figured it out a little sooner, I could have hopped on with those boys. So we got to make some big improvements. I'm on a completely different setup, and we're going for the front.
Excellent stuff. Have a look then up here. This is the run down towards turn number 1. The bikes are being started up here. We're going to clear the grid. Roger, Jamie, we love BellissiMoto Twins Cup. This is going to be a great race.
Yes, and thanks to all of those riders and the officials for letting you be out there. It's a great opportunity to be able to get those last-minute sound bites from all of the various riders. Look, second race here for BellissiMoto's Twins Cup this weekend. Let's take a look back at the highlights from yesterday, Roger.
Yeah, totally different race yesterday. You see the conditions, how wet they are. Alessandro Di Mario on pole, but it was Dominic Doyle with a really good start from the second row, able to work his way toward the front really early. Rocco Landers there second. Good start for Rocco as Alessandro just goes by him down into turn 5, and Dominic Doyle just slowly started to chip away from these guys. The track was wet, it was slick, guys were crashing all over the place. You know, with the rain and it being cold, and unfortunately he went down, but he was up and okay, able to push it off. It was Dominic Doyle has had a rough weekend. The team had to stay here Friday night till 3 a.m. to get a bike underneath him. He goes out and repays him with a big win in race 1.
And that was a victory that he needed after Barber Motorsports Park set him back a little bit in terms of championship point standings. But take a look at how they stack up now after yesterday. Rocco Landers was able to take over the point lead with his third place finish. Gus Rodeo, who wasn't able to make the race yesterday, now finds himself just 1 point back in second place. But Alessandro Di Mario knocking on the door right there, only 4 points behind.
Only 4 points, and Dominic Doyle right there in fourth, only 11 points back. Yesterday's race really tightened these points up.
Take a look at MotoAmerica and the track map. The track these riders are about to tackle, 4.048 miles, Roger.
Yeah, a lot of drafting. You heard Rocco there talking about before the race there. The long straightaways, turn 1 all the way to 3 is really quick. Down into turn 5, we're going to see a lot of action down into there through 6, 7, 8 to the carousel. Really long. Right-hander, fast chicane, turn 11, down to Canada corner, turn 13, and then the last corner, turn 14, just so important. You see coming out of turn 14 that run to the finish line, and hopefully we see a run out of there.
It's a rider favorite. It's a fan favorite. It's going to be a great race in front of us this afternoon with the sunny skies overhead. Don't have to worry about the threat of rain. Here's how they're all lined up. Our pole sitter, Alessandro Di Mario, with Rocco Landers right alongside him, and Gus Rodeo rounding out the front row.
Yesterday's winner, Dominic Doyle, 4th, Rossi Moore there, 5th, and Sean Unbarski.
Yeah, Sean was able to finish 5th, see if he can get up onto the podium. There's Avery Dreyer, who we just saw out in Junior Cup, and now he's in BellissiMoto Twins Cup this season. Jack Roach and Michaela Moore will actually be out there today. She did not take the start yesterday after an injury in qualifying, but she is back out and feeling fit today.
Yeah, and Kevin Almeida back this weekend. Not sure if he's able to, he had to miss yesterday's race, but maybe be able to get out there today.
Got Jeff Bean, Eddie Neubauer, and Bryce DeBoer on row number 5. Joseph Bittner, James Monson, who we saw with that incident yesterday in race number 1 down there in row 6.
Eddie Kay, Drew Vandell, and Brett Donahue there.
Got Graham Williams, Sonia Lloyd is back out coming from the BTR program, and then Sean Morris.
Brad Foss, Rodney Vest, Jeffrey Pert.
A full field of competitors here ready to go racing, Roger.
It is a full field, and it's going to be an exciting race. We've seen how the points tightened up yesterday. We've seen a lot of races so far this weekend with the draft, and it's going to be really, really important. And Alessandro Di Mario has been really fast this weekend. It's just going to be interesting to see if he's able to break the draft.
We know it's going to come down to getting a good, solid start to be able to be the first with a clean track ahead of you getting down into turn 1. They've all talked about it. It was the way Dominic Doyle was able to build up that lead that he had yesterday. You see everyone's still trying to get into position. Right, he's moving out of the way. You're going to see the lights on the left-hand side of your screen. You hear the revs are up. Lights are out. It's time to go racing. Here for the BellissiMoto Twins Cup race number 2. Rocco Landers with a huge start.
Yeah, great start by Rocco, but you can see, I believe it's Gus or Alessandro in his draft trying to make the move down into turn 1, and it's Alessandro Di Mario able to make the pass back by Rocco.
Getting that clear track, and Rocco's right there on the back wheel of Alessandro Di Mario. He knew it was going to be all about being able to get ahead of the field and then build up a gap. You don't want to be back there in the thick of that battle.
And it's going to be interesting to see what Rocco does coming down into turn 5 here. If he tries to be really aggressive with Alessandro, knowing the pace that he has, it just doesn't look like in the draft he's able to close it down.
Gus Rodeo able to use that draft to get around Rocco Landers. For Gus, it's a new engine in that bike. They had the issues yesterday. He went out in the morning warm-up and led morning warm-up, so they were able to fix the problems that they had, but it's been a long weekend of work for everyone over at Rodeo Racing.
Yeah, and a great job by that team to get him back out there today after the issues they've had this weekend. And for Gus here right behind his teammate, see what he can do.
That was a big moment for Rocco as he got up over the curb. Did you see that just a turn ago?
Yeah, you can just see how hard Rocco's working to try to stay with these top 2 guys. Dominic Doyle and Rossi Moore also there. 4th and 5th, those 2 have been going back and forth trading spots.
Just on the first lap, Alessandro Di Mario, it's what he's been able to do so well throughout the season, is just find that pace early and then control the race himself. As we go back through this front pack of riders, you see that number 78 bike. It's the 3rd bike out of the Rodeo Racing powered by Robum Engineering stable, and that is Michaela Moore, the defending champion from the Royal Enfield Build Train race category. And for her, she already won one race today. She was able to win the BTR race earlier on this afternoon, but this is a big weekend for her. She was asked to come up and do this race in Twins Cup, and go back up front now as Michaela continues to fight to stay inside of the top 10, and it's all about Alessandro Di Mario with Gus Rodeo right there, and Rocco Landers still sitting in third.
Yeah, Alessandro DeMario looks like he's already put out almost about a second this lap. We'll see what his first lap time is. Gus there's right behind him. See Rocco Landers really trying to get in that draft of Gus.
Across the line then to start lap number 2, and it's an impressive opening lap, a 2:27.7, and that would have put him well inside the top 12 on the grid from a standing start. DeMario said to me, didn't he, on the grid, I'm going to try to lead and see what happens. I'm not sure exactly what the game plan is going to be, but he got into the lead from the first corner. It was a strong start, as we're used to seeing from Rocco Landers. Gus Rodeo on the second of the rodeo racing by Robum Engineering Aprilias has now slotted into second position, but if he's got any chance of winning, he's going to have to get the hooks into the back of his teammate DeMario, because he is off like a scalded cat, and he already has a 0.9 of a second advantage at the end of the first lap.
But it looks like Gus and Rocco's kind of closed it down a little bit in that first sector, and Gus goes down.
Gus able to get back up and run over to the bike, see if he can get back out there.
Can see Gus trying really hard to get back into this race, knowing that he needs to try to see if he can get going and maybe get some points.
Having trouble getting it fired, it looks like. See the rest of the field coming past him. So Gus now at the tail end of the full field here on the second lap. 6 laps to go as you look back up front at his teammate Alessandro DeMario. Without Gus there, he's going to have an even bigger gap over Rocco Landers, but now Rocco doesn't have anybody to fight with, so he's going to have to just put his head down and try and get onto the back of Alessandro.
And you see Rocco look back as we see a replay of Gus, the second rider, on your screen, hard on the brakes. You can see how much time he's closing up on Alessandro. Trail braking really long down into turn 5. We didn't see the beginning of the crash. I'm sure he just lost the front end. Not a hard crash, but you know, it's unfortunate for Gus to have that crash so early on into the race.
We'll have a few laps. He'll be able to get back up to speed and hopefully make up some positions. We talked about the championship implications that unfolded yesterday for Gus. He came into the weekend as the point leader. You see Dominic Doyle, our leader from yesterday, being able to make that move on Rossi Moore. But for Gus Rodeo, he found himself 1 point behind Rocco Landers coming into the race today. And BellissiMoto Twins Cup, they started the season back at Daytona. They only have 2 race weekends left, only 4 rounds of competition remaining for this season. So we're at a point in the season where if you're not putting points up every weekend, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, and that's just a tough spot, just to have that crash like that and come here this weekend and lose the amount of points as they lost. So all they can do from here, Gus and the team, is just try to rebuild, and when they get to the next track we have Twins Cup, just be able to be really strong and start trying to build some more points like they did at Daytona.
Yeah, interestingly, just picking up on what you're saying there, Jamie and Roger, as it stands right now, if the flag was to come out right now, Alessandro DeMario would be the new leader of the BellissiMoto Twins Cup Championship by 1 point. And there you have the graphic on the screen. Dominic Doyle would leapfrog up into 3rd position. We've got 3 manufacturers on the podium. Twins Cup never fails to disappoint, does it? But what a pendulum swing in the championship. And poor Gus Rodeo, who won the opening 2 races by a country mile in Daytona, potentially finds himself 22 points adrift. This is massive for the championship.
It really is. You see Dominic Doyle there sitting in 3rd at the moment. And when you saw that graphic up there, Roger, he's 16 points out of the championship lead right now. Go back to Barber, and we talked about how his result there hurt him. He was disqualified after the race and lost the 10 points that he was able to gain.
Yeah, you see Rossi Moore there make that pass into the chicane on Dominic, but you're right, losing those points is big. But you know, all he can do is come here this weekend and get that win yesterday like he did, and be in this podium battle today and try to collect as many points as possible. It's definitely a big hurt, but you just got to move on. And you see Dominic able to make that pass back, headed down into Canada Corner. That last lap, Alessandro DeMario did a 24.9. That's almost the exact same lap time that he did in qualifying with the new track record. Also, that was a new race record. The previous one was a 26.6. Twins Cup, this is their first time here with the track being repaved, and you can see how much faster they are.
Yeah, a huge amount of of gain for the Twins Cup category this weekend in terms of track time. And the bikes are just going so much faster than what any of them were expecting when they came in this weekend without being here last year. I'm looking up at the timing and scoring screen that we have up here, and it looks like Gus Rodeo has made his way to pit lane and will not make it back out on the racetrack.
Rocco Landers is doing the exact same lap times as Alessandro DeMario. He's just a little over a second back. Another new record for Alessandro, 24.6, same lap time for Rocco. Rocco's doing, race record pace, but so is the leader.
A full 2 seconds faster than the previous race record. You see Dominic Doyle is still in this heated battle with Rossi Moore, the two of them going back and forth. Rocco's still sitting there in second. It's a 1.3 second gap that Alessandro DeMario has been able to build up over him. When you look over the shoulder of Rocco Landers, this battle for third between Dominic Doyle and Rossi Moore, they're some 3.5 seconds back on the racetrack.
And look at Rossi, gets a really good run there through turn 7, looking like he's going to try to make the pass into 8. Just wasn't close enough. The previous lap, Rossi Moore was really fast through this carousel, this really long right-hander. The Suzuki works good through here, able to get the run. You can see he's getting it again this time. Going to put himself on the outside, headed into the chicane, and see if he's close enough to make a pass again this lap.
Right there waiting for it, but just not enough. You see the gap. That was Alessandro DeMario, Rocco Landers. This is the battle for third and fourth. And you can just see how the four of them collectively are just so much further ahead of the rest of the field. They couldn't even get them all in the same shot.
Yeah, you see Rossi Moore just right here following Dominic, just trying to figure out a place to pass. It looks like he gets a good run in a certain spots, but he just hasn't been close enough to make that pass this last lap. He's going to be in the draft right now. He's going to be trying to get a good run out of that last corner, see if he can get a draft off Dominic, but he's just not close enough.
Going back up front to Alessandro DeMario. He didn't sound too certain when he was out there on the grid talking to Michael Hill. He said, I don't really know what to expect. Yesterday was wet, today is dry, but he's fast no matter what the conditions are.
Yeah, he's fast, and he's getting faster as this race goes on. This is his last lap was another personal best of 24.3, fastest lap of the race. Rocco wasn't able to match that. He was previously. Rocco was really stepped up this race. But that lap he lost about a half a second to Alessandro DeMario. So we see Rocco, this is the point of the race. When we go back to the last race at Barber, this is the point of the race where Rocco figured something out and made his way toward the front. So we'll see if he can do that again today.
Yeah, he just ran out of laps back at Barber to be able to make it happen. And you look back at this battle again, and Rossi Moore in that 92 is able to get around Dominic Doyle for now. We've seen these two go back and forth. Dominic better at other parts of the track.
Yeah, just a really good run down into turn 5 for Rossi Moore, and he's been really quick through this second sector. So, Rossi's going to have his head down through here, try to pull as much as a gap as he possibly can to try to break that draft where Dominic Doyle isn't able to make that move back around him.
Four laps remaining in this race today. It started off as 8. Yesterday's race, because of the rain, was shortened down to 5 laps. So they get a couple extra laps to work with in the dry conditions today. And for some of these riders, like a rider like Rocco, who does get better as the race goes on, those extra laps are going to help.
It's going to be huge, and we'll see right here Dominic Doyle, if he's able to make the draft on Rossi there on the Suzuki. Able to make it pretty easily down into Canada corner. And see how late Rossi is on the brakes. There's just nothing he could do about that. Dominic just had too much speed running down into Canada corner.
We haven't seen him in the pictures, but if you look at the scoring pylon, you see Avery Dreyer in 5th right now. Jack Roach right behind him in 6th, and Sean Unvarsky, who finished 5th yesterday. And we talked to him, Michael did, out on the grid, and he was hoping to move up into podium contention. He finds himself down in 7th right now.
Yeah, and also Michaela Moore, talked a lot about her, still running inside the top 10 there in 9th. Great showing for her so far, her first Twins Cup race. And you can see the gap between Dominic Doyle, Rossi Moore, and your 5th place rider, Avery Dreyer.
There's Avery Dreyer, our Junior Cup defending champion, doing double duty this season, making the move up into the BellissiMoto Twins Cup Championship. And back at Daytona, you remember, he was pretty impressive. He was able to finish on the podium. He finished 3rd in his first race in Twins Cup, and had a couple of rough goes there as he was trying to figure out, the schedule and going bike to bike, and he's really starting to settle into it.
Yeah, and from there he started going back and forth between the bikes, and that's something that he's kind of struggled with a little bit, but today he's having a really good ride there in 5th. Chris Parrish also having a really good ride as well there in 8th.
Staying inside the top 10, it's a family effort for Chris. So we'll keep going back through the field. There's the 78 of Michaela Moore, still running inside the top 10, running 9th. One of the things that we were talking about, Roger, her race experience comes from the Build Train race, and with just the nature of that championship, they don't use things like pit boards. So for Michaela, the race today, it's the first time at speed seeing the pit board. You see Gus Rodeo on the 96. He was able to get back out there, but still struggling through some issues, Roger.
Yeah, and a little bit down as well, and Gus is just trying to get out there and see if it's fixed, and he's got his hand up right there. He's staying out of the racing line, making sure he doesn't get any of the riders' way, but unfortunate for him. No points today. Alessandro DeMario out here in the lead. Last lap had almost 2.5-second lead over Rocco Landers. The consistency of Alessandro DeMario, 24.3 is his best. His last lap was a 24.5. Every lap has been within a couple tenths. Rocco's doing everything he can to try to close that gap down.
He has been able to close the gap just a little bit. 2.1 seconds is what's showing now. The previous lap was 2.3. So Rocco, his lap times continuing to improve over the course of this race, but they're still not there yet with Alessandro DeMario.
Yeah, that lap he was a couple tenths quicker than Alessandro DeMario, so that's a good lap for Rocco. But I think he's going to have to pick up a little bit more if he thinks he's going to be able to chase down Alessandro. But if anybody can do it, it's definitely Rocco.
Hey, you look at the lap times there at the bottom of the screen. The last time passed, that was the first lap that Rocco had been able to go faster than Alessandro, but only 2 laps remaining in this race, and going to have to evaluate, is it enough time?
And then he's going to have to weigh the risk too, the risk versus reward. Does he really think that he can chase him down, and is he going to take too many chances to, it could be a good points day for Rocco as well.
That battle for 3rd continues between Rossi Moore and Dominic Doyle. For the time being, it's Dominic Doyle with the point, but as we've seen, Rossi Moore is right there, able to take advantage any chance he gets.
Yeah, any mistake by Dominic, Rossi's going to be there to capitalize, and Rossi's doing everything he can. He just can't get that run, able to really make that pass. He's right here going through turns 6, 7, and 8. He's able to really close up the gap through here.
It's a great shot that really shows how long those straightaways are here at Road America, just the nature of this racetrack. It's one of the reasons the riders all love it, because they get to come out and just really feel the speed of these bikes.
See, Rossi through this carousel is really fast. He's been trying to set up some passes through here to get on the inside into this chicane. He looks at it, he's just can't get close enough to be able to make the pass. In there through this tight chicane, important. Rossi's going to be trying his best to get a good run out of there. See if he can get in Dominic's draft, headed down into Canada Corner. Rocco Landers this lap, we talked about him getting faster as the race goes on. The fastest 2nd sector of the whole race, and then the 3rd sector was his personal best, so this could be Rocco's best lap.
This battle continues for the final step on the podium. This is back up front with Alessandro DeMario. As he comes up over the hill, he's going to take the white flag. This will be the final lap of this race, and now you see what that gap is. The Rocco Lander's been able to close it down to 1.2 seconds. If you remember the lap before, it was 2.1 seconds. So Rocco Lander's continuing to get quicker, and he just does the best lap of the race, a 2:24.2 for Rocco Lander. So he's right there, but 1 lap to go.
Yeah, he's right there, and he's got to do another lap like that. He was 0.8 quicker than Alessandro Di Mario. And you know, Rocco, he's still pushing, he's still trying. He's going to need another lap just like that one. But what an impressive lap by Rocco this late into the race to do the best lap.
At the end of this race, these two, I bet, are going to have a nice conversation just about how they were respectfully able to ride with one another and continue to trade that position. One of them's going to end up on the podium.
Looked like Rossi was trying to make the pass there in the 5. He's able to make it, but is he going to be able to stick?
Got 2 groups of 2 in the last lap here. The question for Rocco Landers, though, Roger, the gap is coming down all the time. Catching is one thing, passing is another. Can he do it?
Yeah, it'll be difficult, but if anybody, Rocco's got his head down, and you can see as Rossi Moore also has his head down, kind of in the same position there with Dominic Doyle trying to pull out as much as he possibly can to break that draft from Dominic.
Through the first 2 sectors of the battle up front, Rocco Landers has been able to be 0.5 of a second faster, and he's right there with Alessandro Di Mario. I'm not sure Alessandro knew he was that close, as Rocco Landers able to make the pass for the lead on the final lap of the race. Isn't going to be enough. Does he have enough speed left in it to hold on to it?
Yeah, and Rocco talked about they struggling with speed and getting off the corners, and that's, you could see there the Aprilia was able to get a really good run, but Rocco has closed the gap and now leading with 3 corners to go.
Talk about the draft coming up to the final stage of this lap. Roger, do you want to be first or you want to be second?
I think for Alessandro, he would like to be where he's at, and Rocco where he wants to be, to see if he can pull enough of a gap to get the lead. And we'll see. Rocco has did a great last sector, has a few bike links headed up the hill.
Rocco with his head down. Alessandro Di Mario right there on his rear tire. It's going to come down to the line, and Rocco Landers able on the last lap to make that pass and get around to take the checkered flag. As you see the number 92, Rossi Moore, coming across to finish in 3rd. Dominic Doyle no longer there in the picture. It was a tremendous battle between them the entire race, and Rossi Moore was able to hold off Dominic Doyle. But look at that celebration from Rocco Landers. You now see Dominic Grass coming out of the bike there as he continues.
The front brake guard's hanging up as well, so looks like Dominic slid out somewhere but was able to get up and able to still finish 5th.
Yeah, even with the issues that he had on that last lap, the gap to the rest of the field was big enough that he's still going to earn some solid points today, but certainly with that shake of the head, the disappointment for him. You see Michaela Moore on the number 78 completing this race for her, and just being able to get this experience and be able to come out today after her injury and crash yesterday. She's going to be proud of the job that she did.
Yeah, just a solid weekend for her, and like you said, just be really happy that 9th place, a top 10 finish. Great ride for her. We talked about Rocco during that race getting faster as the race goes on, and he was able to do that. And you see that lap 7, that 24.2, that race lap record, outright record, was able to close that gap down.
You can see the energy from Rocco Landers. Remember after yesterday when he was able to finish on the podium in the rain, Rocco said that was the most fun Twins Cup race ever. I think it'll feel different after this one. To go back, this was the pass for the lead. This is when Rocco was right there.
Yeah, this was just a good run through the carousel heading into that really tight chicane. Rocco gets in deep, but right here he's able to get the bike stopped, kind of run a little bit wide there. You see how Rocco runs, you know, Alessandro up a little bit. That's a really smart racing move by Rocco to try to kill his drive. And you can see just Rocco how just right away he's trying to get tucked in, and Alessandro Di Mario's trying to get in the draft. He wasn't able to make it happen. Alessandro Di Mario's last lap was a 26.4. That's a couple seconds off his best lap. Not sure what happened, but Rocco Landers, great ride by him.
Rocco Landers coming around, find the podium position.
BellissiMoto Twins Cup is brought to you by BellissiMoto, where the biggest names in custom bike building shop for parts. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Rocco Landers just continues to celebrate. This is a tremendous racecraft for him, being able to be there right when he needed to. Here are the results from today. Rocco Landers, Alessandro Di Mario, Rossi Moore, your podium finishers. Avery Dreyer, it was a great race for him. Dominic Doyle still able to finish in 5th.
Yeah, Jack Roach 6th. Sean Umbarski, another good ride for him. 7th. Chris Parrish 8th, and Michaela Moore top 9.
Rocco's made his way over there to the team to be able to celebrate. Can't wait to hear from him with Michael Hill in just a few moments. Let's take a look at the championship points and the way they look now with only 4 races remaining in the season. Rocco Landers with the lead, 9 points now over Alessandro Di Mario. Dominic Doyle moving up into 3rd, 25 points back. And then Gus Rodeo, who wasn't able to finish, now 26 points back. Take a look at the highlights from this second race. It was full of them, Roger.
Full of them. And Rocco Landers, really good start for him right there on that front row. They're pulling out a little bit early off the start, but you can see Alessandro Di Mario really aggressive down into turn 1 on the brakes. See Gus Rodeo there early on the race as well, making the pass on Rocco Landers. Dominic Doyle there in 4th. You see Alessandro from here just led the race, breaking the outright record every lap. Gus Rodeo had an issue, the points leader down into turn 5, making a mistake. Rossi Moore and Dominic Doyle fought through this whole race for that last podium battle. You see Rossi there in the lead, Dominic Doyle able to get in the draft, make that pass down into, head of the corner each lap. These two are going back and forth. You see Dom now, he's behind Rossi Moore, and these guys just sizing each other up as this race went on. Alessandro Di Mario, see Rocco Landers now starting to close that gap with a couple laps to go. Rossi Moore down into turn 5 on the last lap, able to get by Dominic Doyle. And here's Rocco Landers going into that chicane on the last lap, able to get in there deep, get it stopped, run Alessandro a little bit wide, and a really good run. You see the run, Rocco got out of there and pulled out enough of a gap where Alessandro wasn't able to draft him back to the line. What a ride by Rocco Landers, able to get that win and extend his points.
Yeah, he was sitting behind Alessandro, sizing him up the whole race, knowing that he was able to find more pace at just the right time. Let's go ahead and get down to Michael Hill, and we can hear what they have to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to hear many words or just whooping and screaming down here, because Rocco Landers, not only does he secure the win for the Revzilla Suzuki, it's his 50th MotoAmerica win. I do like a stat, and I'm sure that stat's going to make you smile. A little wink there. What a phenomenal final 2 laps. Talk us through it.
Dude, this tire, we made a little bit of a gamble, and it worked out incredibly in our favor. It's hard to stick with these guys down the straights, but I was pushing so hard, and I saw Gus go down. That was a bummer, but I figured he might be able to tow me up to Alessandro, but then at that point I was doing it on my own. But the whole Revzilla Motul, Vance and Hines Motorsports team, and Suzuki have worked so hard. This bike's handling incredible. It's one of my favorite bikes I've ever ridden, and I'm stoked on the progress we've made and that we're going to continue to make. It's nice to come out of here with the points lead. I cannot wait to get back to training, get back home. I got to give a huge shout out to my whole team. My mechanic Matt, my crew chief Steve, team manager Craig, Terry Vance, my bagger mechanic Quentin. Everyone's helping me out. Revit, HJC, Foo Sport Boots, everybody.
Thank you, Rocco. What about it down here? There's a huge crowd down here in Victory Circle. Again, one of the beautiful things of MotoAmerica is the fans can get close. Let's have a look then at Alessandro Di Mario, a double podium, and again, incredible pace, Alessandro, at the start of that race, but that move from Rocco, maybe coming when you didn't expect it. Talk us through the race from your point of view.
Yeah, I took a big risk. I went with the softer tires, so I was fast the first laps, but my tire was absolutely shot by the end. Had the carousel, it was sliding everywhere, and I just lost a lot of time those last laps. So when Rocco passed me, and I started going a little wide and trying to get under, but I couldn't do anything. The tire was absolutely shot. So, I mean, I'm happy with the result. I want to thank all my sponsors, my team. I didn't know Gus went down. I just heard from Rocco. I hope he's okay. And yeah, I just want to thank all my sponsors, the whole team, Chad, Matt, Kevin, Mike. everybody. Thank you.
Thanks to Alessandro, very much a title contender. And let's get a big cheer for this guy. He was a little bit disappointed yesterday, but the smile says he's not disappointed today. Third place in a podium for Rossi Moore. How was that one for you, buddy?
It was a really difficult race on my end. Sadly, we're just lacking something in the straightaways, but I'm sure we're going to make it up. You know, the whole Vision Wheel M4XR Suzuki crew, they worked so hard to get this bike out there. You know, my tires worked great. The Dunlops are just, you know, it had so much pace at the end, and I was able to pass Dom. I heard he went down, so I hope he's all right. But, you know, it's just good, hard racing. You know, I'm just so happy that I'm up here on the podium finally after some bad luck in the first few rounds. And I just want to take my whole crew, Brian, Jesse, CU, JU, Team Hammer, everybody else who's helped me so much, Dionysi, everyone else has helped me. I just want to thank you so much that we've got here. Thank you, guys.
Thanks to Rossi, and stick with us on MotoAmerica Live Plus. We're going to step away. Up next, it is Supersport, their second race here at Road America, so do not go anywhere.